Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Welcome to all for this session on Ramayana to chapter 33 of Kishkindha Kanda. In the previous chapter, we saw Lakshmana arrived at the gates of Kishkindha with a fury, and immediately Angada, noticing his anger, came rushing up, invited Lakshmana, and then, off with his command, he rushed towards Sugriva and tried to wake him up. And he was also accompanied by two of the personal ministers of Sugriva, who also tried to wake him up. But in the meantime, seeing the fury of Lakshmana, all the apes, all the kapis, all the vanaras started raising a hue and a cry, and then immediately Sugriva woken up to the cry of those vanaras, and he was wondering at why exactly Lakshmana is getting angry. And at that time, Hanuman counseled Sugriva, saying that you have not informed Rama and you have defaulted from your side regarding starting regarding your pledge of starting the search for Sita, even though rainy season got over and the autumn season has started. At Angada's request and in accord with the Rama's command, Lakshmana, the slayer of hostile warriors, entered the beautiful city of Kishkindha situated in the midst of caves. Seeing Lakshmana approaching, the highly powerful monkeys of immense size guarding the gate stood with joined palms, and beholding the son of Dasharatha filled with wrath, breathing heavily, dared not to obstruct his entry. Then that mighty warrior, gazing about him, beheld that great city decorated with jewels and flowery gardens, and rendered magnificent by heaps of precious stones with which it was filled, abounding in spacious buildings and temples with jewels of every kind in abundance offered as merchandise. It was embellished by flowering trees covered with every desirable fruit. In fact, Lakshmana had never come to Kishkinda because soon after the fight with Vali, both Rama and Lakshmana they retired to the Prasravana hill and they were staying there throughout the rainy season. Even for the coronation of Sugriva, Rama refused to come because he had decided, as per his pledge towards his father, he decided to stay away from the human settlements. So, because of that reason, probably Lakshmana too stayed away, staying with his brother. But now, this is the first time, as per the orders, as per the command of Rama, he is entering into the Kishkinda. Born of the gods and Gandharvas, monkeys able to change their form at will, wearing celestial garlands and raiment, added to the beauty of the city of their charming appearance, fragrant with a scent of sandalwood, aloes, and lotus. Broad highways were also filled with intoxicating odor of myreya and madhu, to some types of the honey and the wine. Lakshmana beheld great mansions also as high as Vindhya and Meru mountains, and streams of pure water flowing through the city. He surveyed the enchanting abodes of Angada, Mainda, Vivida, Gavaya, Gavaksha, Gaja, Sharabha, Vidyudunmali, Sampati, Suryaksha, Hanuman, Veerabahu, Subahu, and great souled Nala, Kumuda, Sushena, Tara, Jambavan, Dadibaktra or Dadimuka, Neela, Sunetra, and Sutala, dwelling like unto white clouds adorned with fragrant garlands and filled with jewels, grain, and lovely women. The magnificent and inaccessible abode of the king of monkeys, like the palace of Mahendra, stood on a white rock and was decorated with pinnacled domes resembling the peaks of Mount Kailasa. Trees in full flower, bearing fruits of every kind of delicious flavor, had been planted there and resembled blue clouds enchanting with their cool shade, celestial blooms and golden hued fruit. Valiant monkeys bearing weapons in their hands guarded the resplendent gateway, the arches of which were of fine gold adorned with magnificent garlands. The mighty Lakshmana entered Sugriva's palace without hindrance as the sun enters a great cloud, and having traversed the seven courtyards filled with conveyances and seats, he beheld the inner apartments of the chief of the Vanaras, abounding in gold and silver couches with rich coverlets and fine seats. On entering there, he heard sweet music blending with the rhythmic cadence of singing to the accompaniment of strident stringed instruments, and in the private apartments of Sugriva, many a high born woman distinguished for her youth and beauty, sumptuously attired, crowned with flowers and engaged in wearing garlands, was observed by the high souled Lakshmana. He noted too that there were none of the king's attendants who were not richly apparelled, happy, well fed, and eager to offer their services. Hearing the sound of the women's anklets and girdles, the virtuous Lakshmana became confused and incensed by the tinkling of their ornaments, and that hero stretched the cord of his bow so that the twangling resounded on all sides. Thereafter, the valiant Lakshmana, indignant on Rama's account, withdrew into a corner and stood silent, reflecting on his presumption in entering Sugriva's private apartments. Hearing the twanging of the bow, Sugriva, the king of the Vanaras, recognizing the presence of Lakshmana, began to tremble on his splendid throne. Remember, Lakshmana walked all the way at the invitation of Angada to the inner apartment, but he decided not to enter into the private apartment where Sugriva is staying there with his consorts because Lakshmana is following a strict celibacy, so he do not want to look at other women. He is following a very strict celibacy, leaving his wife too back in Ayodhya, and he maintained it for the last 12 years. And this was a necessary in order to kill Indrajitu at a later date, who is the son of Ravana. Because to kill Indrajitu, one needs to be practicing celibacy, a strict celibacy for nearly 12 years, and also no food or sleep for all those 12 years. He reflected, as Angada previously informed me, Saumitri, through brotherly solicitude, has undoubtedly came here. Thus reflected Sugriva, he started trembling with fear. Why exactly Lakshmana is seething with anger? Then that monkey, informed by Angada, his tidings now made doubly sure of the sound of the bow, understood that Lakshmana had come, and he grew pale, his heart being filled with apprehension. And Sugriva, the king of the Vanaras, addressed Tara of charming appearance in well considered words, saying, O lady of lovely eyebrows, what causes displeasure? What is the cause for displeasure? Has the younger brother of Rama, who is gentle by nature? Why has he come here like a raving madman? You yourself know the reason of this prince's anger. Assuredly, that lion among men cannot be enraged without cause. If we have unwittingly displeased him, then considering the matter carefully, inform me without delay, or go yourself to him. O lovely one, by your sweet speech seek to reconciliate him. Seeing you, his mind will become tranquil and his anger be allayed. Great warriors do not permit themselves to treat women with harshness. When your gentle words have soothed him and his mind and senses are under control, then I, in my turn, will approach that prince whose eyes are as large as lotus petals and who is the conqueror of his enemies. On this, Tara, who was formerly wife of Wali, but now after the death of Wali, became the wife of Sugriva, swaying slightly, her eyes bright from the drinking of wine, her girdle loosened, hanging by a golden thread, wearing the insignia of royalty, with downcast looks, approached Lakshmana. And when that great warrior beheld the consort of the king of the Vanaras, he restraining his wrath in presence of a woman, bowed his head, conducting himself like an ascetic. Because generally people kept their anger under control on seeing a woman of noble value. Under the influence of wine and observing the benign attitude of that prince, Tara, discarding all diffidence, addressed him in a conciliatory manner, in words calculated to gain his confidence, and said, from where springs this anger, O son of a king? Who has failed to carry out your orders? What reckless person has approached the forest where the trees are dry with a flaming torch? Mollified by this soft speech, Lakshmana replied with studied courtesy, why, given over to lust, does your consort Sugriva neglect his duty and his own true interests? And you who are devoted to him, why do you not give the matter your consideration? He has become indifferent to the affairs of the kingdom and of ourselves and our displeasure. Surrounded by parasites, O Tara, he gives himself up to sensual enjoyments. Was it the responsibility of Tara to wake up Sugriva for his mistakes? Generally, it is not. These are the stately affairs which need to be taken care of by the ministers. So, as a minister, Hanuman had in time woke up Sugriva, reminding him of his responsibility, and in time, Sugriva immediately commanded Nila in order to assemble the entire armies of the Vanaras, and they are all getting assembled in the Kishkindha within next few days. But in the meantime, the biggest mistake of Sugriva is at the same time he would have informed about his preparations to Rama either by himself, which may not be really possible, or through any one of the emissaries. But even he had not done that. So slowly Tara is trying to pursue Lakshmana and tried to subdue his anger. The 4 months appointed as the terms of waiting have passed. But the king of the Vanaras, in an orgy of drunkenness and pleasure, is unaware of it. Assuredly, dissipation is not a proper means to the observance of one's duty and obligations. Intemperance brings in its train the loss of wealth, virtue, and the capacity for enjoyment. Not to requite a service received is to fail wholly in one's duty, and to lose a good friend is immensely injurious to one's higher interest. Because in the past, Rama, as promised to Sugriva, has already slayed Vali, and with that, Sugriva had got the power of the throne. He also got back his wife Ruma, but now Sugriva need to pay back whatever is received by Rama in terms of searching for Sita, which he had still not informed to Rama. From the point of view of prosperity, the greatest of virtues is friendship that is rooted in loyalty and justice. He who fails in these is not fixed in his duty. This being so, What should therefore be done, O yourself who are conversant with path of duty? Hearing these just and reasonable words expressed with gentleness, Tara assured the prince of the certain fulfillment of his enterprise and again addressed Lakshmana, saying, O son of a king, this is not the time for recrimination. You should restrain your anger against my lord. He has your interests at heart. Forgive this mistake, O warrior. O prince, how can a man endowed with every good quality be indignant with one who is lacking such good qualities? That is Sugriva. Which of your equals, despite his good character, would give way to wrath? I know the reason for the displeasure of Sugriva's valiant ally. I am conversant with the service that you have both rendered us and which we must return. I know further, O best of men, that one must master one's passions. I am aware in that company Sugriva has yielded to lust, which is the cause of the present procrastination that incites your wrath. When man yields to desire, he forgets time and place as also his duty and what should rightfully be done. Do yourself pardon this leader of the monkey race, who at my side without shame gives himself up to sensual enjoyment to which he is the slave. Even the greatest rishis, devoted to the practice of asceticism, when carried away by desire, lost control of their minds. How should this monkey, therefore volatile by nature, when overcome by passion, not become a slave to pleasure? King yourself he be, though he is the king, he is giving up, he is giving himself into that pleasure and becoming slave to that. Having addressed these words of profound understanding to Lakshmana, whose courage was immeasurable, the gentle Vanari, with a troubled look on account of her conjugal affection, then added to the good of her lord. O most excellent of men, though overcome by desire, Sugriva has long since made preparation to your advantage. Already hundreds, thousands, and millions of valiant monkeys, able to change their form at will, inhabiting every kind of tree, have come here. Be pleased to enter, therefore, O long armed warrior. The chastity conduct of a sincere friend authorizes him to look on the wives of others. In fact, Lakshmana hesitated and he didn't enter into the private apartments because there Sugriva will be accompanied by his many consorts. However, if when he is looking at them in a friendly manner, not with any evil intention, there is nothing that goes wrong with his celibacy. At Tara's invitation and urged by a desire to carry out the commands that had been laid upon him by Rama, the illustrious hero, the conqueror of his enemies, entered the inner apartment. There, seated on a golden throne covered with a rich cloth, he beheld Sugriva resembling the sun itself, his person decked with celestial ornaments of a godlike beauty and dignity. Wearing superb raiment and wreaths, he looked like Mahendra himself. On every side he was surrounded by women adorned with crowns and jewels, meet for goddesses, and his reddened eyes gave him the appearance of Antaka, of the hue of fine gold, clasping Ruma firmly in his arms, seated on the magnificent throne. That large eyed hero saw before him the mighty Saumitri of expansive eyes. Thus ended chapter 33 of Kishkindha Kanda in Ramayana. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಶಾರದಾ ದೇವಿ ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರ ಪುರವಾಸಿನಿ ತ್ವಾಮಹಂ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಯೇ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾದಾನಂಚ ದೇಹಿ ಮೇ. ಬಾಯ್.